Hey, I'm Ray. Finally, we're going to talk about how to constitute the content of our expression. So the following technique I'm going to offer to you is called listing. So just think about this: if there's a lot of pile pieces piled up right in front of you, and you want to find the piece you want, I believe it's not that easy to find it because there's just a whole pile right in front of you, right? So if we want to find the one we want, we need to do something first. We need to sort them out of some kind of rules, like size or colors, to different groups. So it's kind of minimize the periphery. It's minimize the scope of what we want, so we can find the piece we want more easily. So same reason, if we have a whole chunks of information we want to get through to other people, it's not that easy for listeners to consume these whole chunks of information because they haven't sorted out. So we need to classify them. We need to add some classification in our information to sort them, to classify them into different points, and that would be more easy, that would be more acceptable for listeners to understand. So I think reduce the obstacles of understanding is our responsibility. So I will offer you a very some very practical to some very practical principle, or some very practical methods to tap into. So the first one is called remember the number three. So why number three, right? You might ask. So number three, based on some neuroscience, number three is the right number for human brain to feel harmony. If the number is over three, it's two more than us. If the number is less than three, that seems too less. So three is just right. So take for example, the slogan for French Revolution is called liberty, uh, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So that sounds very catchy, right? And it's more easier for listeners to understand and commit to memory. So that's the first method. The second method is MISI principle. MISI principle represents mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. So mutually exclusive means that every point that we create should not go against each other. So take for example, if we want to sort out the clothes we have in our drawer, then we classify them into two groups. The first group is called clothes for work. Second group is called long sleeve clothes. How do you think about that? It's definitely not right, right? Because if you got a clothes which are long sleeves, but they're also for working, so where should these clothes go, right? They go against each other. They're not independent. So that is not right. And uh, collectively exhaustive, right? Is means that every point we create, when they add up, they should be a whole. So for example, if we want to sort out our clients, and we classify them into two groups. The first group is called clients between the age 10 to 50, and the second group is called clients whose age are older than 50. That is not right. as well, because we miss clients whose age younger than 10. So that is so-called MISI principle. And the third method is called the third method is big picture and localization. Big picture means that before we get into the details, we need to tell listeners the big picture. We need to offer them a map before they get into a maze. So we can use the sentence like, hey, in the following sharing, I'm going to talk about point A, B, and C. Now, let's talk about A. A is blah, blah, blah. That's to make them understand the whole picture of our conversation. And localization means that sometimes when we elaborate on one point for too long time, listeners, they will forget where they are along the way. So we need to remind them to get them back on track. So we can use the sentence like, hey, we've already finished point A and B. Now I'm going to talk about C. So by using this technique, they know exactly where they are. So overall, that's the three methods I can offer to you guys, and I believe if you guys familiar with these three things, the three techniques, that will make your content more clear and transparent. But basically, I know sometimes it's not that easy to classify our content into 3 points, right? We don't have that kind of logic sometimes. So I will offer you some very practical and useful templates that we can tap into, and we can, just kind of doing some permutations of these templates. So I think that will be more easy. That will be easier for you to kind of get familiar with this technique. And I also made a PowerPoint for today's videos, and I will leave it in the description below. Feel free to download it. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.